open's been on my mind since I started bodybuilding. When I was first getting even into this, really even into lifting in general, you just wanted to be a total freak. That was like bodybuilding. We didn't have classic physique when I started or men's physique. It was only bodybuilding. And so all the magazines when I was coming up and seeing bodybuilding in the 90s, early 2000s, it was kind of a mass monster era. So you do want to see the most muscular physique you can be, and that kind of was the peak of what you might see for your fullest potential, right? So turning pro, I was a heavyweight. That was 2016. My initial goal was to do the open because I didn't think 212. I just wanted to get bigger. I wanted to be huge. And I was like, I was already like pretty close to that weight cutoff. So I did a 212 show, and that was in 2016 was my pro debut. And I prepped for open after that. Had an off season for a year, was up to like 260. And then Renee and I traveled to Dominican Republic, and I got some weird stomach virus for like 5 weeks. I ended up dropping 20 pounds. And that's when I was like, well, I'm 240. Let's just prep for 212. Because I had a plan to do a show. And ever since that show, I've just always have done 212. And I definitely hit like a great look in 2019 with 212, and then just had some rough years of like prepping a long time, like COVID happened. But there's always like the question on my mind if I was holding myself back some with 212. But after 2022, we were prepping, Renee and I was going to do the Romania show, and started looking at goals and what are we really trying to get out of this show. There's kind of was two segments, right? I had everything I'm doing with J3U, educating, leaving like this legacy behind that I feel like is the most impactful thing I'll be remembered for, but then also my own physique. And to align with that goal, my big purpose of why I do this now. I mean, I love bodybuilding for my own self-development, but it's transcending into others now, right? So to go out to that Romania show, to do only one show of the year, and maybe not get the ability to share that with as many people as I would if I did some bigger shows or hit a few back-to-back, we decided not to compete that year. And I was like, well, I'll just off-season. We'll just grow. It is what it is, right? So now we're here this year. And I was like, well, I'll prep. And I had the idea to do an open show. Like either way this year, I wanted to do one. And the idea was like, if I can get close enough to 212, I'll do it. But then I'll do an open show after. If there's like no way I can make weight, well, then I'll just do an open show. So I already had on the cards this year to do an open show. That was one thing I wanted to do. Well, it so happened I got pretty close to weight for 212, did Atlanta, won the show, loved my 212 look. I really think it was my all-time best. And so after that, well, next plan was like time for the open show. So finally, all the way since 2016 of what my initial goal was like, yep, I'm going to be open, getting back around to it. So I just brought food up these past weeks and trained like there wasn't a weight class in mind. And then we're just seeing my body weight go up and I still look super conditioned. We're like, wow, okay, this is what it is. You're starting to see a physique that I've never seen before at this body weight, this condition level, at just by far my all-time best, biggest, just as conditioned as always. And now we're here at Legion Sports Fest in Reno, the last qualifier for the Olympia. And I'm at a body weight now where I'm 10 pounds up stage weight wise from where I was at Atlanta, and love the look. So it's all about, for me, just like what I had for Atlanta was bringing my all-time best, and every time I step on stage, continuing to improve on that. And so it was a point where that might have like capped me out in Atlanta, what I could do in the 212, like my all-time best, without, I don't think I could cut down from this weight and be better. So that's the open's always been in my mind, the short story. It's just finally getting around to seeing it out. 2 days out from the Legion Sports Fest. This is my open debut. I thought you all would enjoy this day because this is actually my higher carb day. Now, it won't be extremely high because I'm not relatively that flat, but it is the higher carb day. Then the one day out, I can adjust down food if I need to. So plan for today is to start off with meal one and putting in about 120 grams of carbs and just prepping it now. I'm super hungry, so I'm just like trying to like throw this together and get the meal in while we're doing this video. But for this meal, it'll be relatively what I normally do eat. So I'm doing 250 grams of egg white, some spinach and peppers in that. I'll have my normal 60 grams of oat flour with 20 grams of whey that I add in there. Also doing, down at the breakfast, we're at Homewood Sweets, they have like dried fruits, so I stole a couple little baggies of them, put 10 grams of dried cranberries in there, doing a slice of white bread as well, then mixed in the rice, do 100 grams of white rice. So I'll have that all total up. I have it on my computer what the actual meal came to, but again, we're right at like about 100 grams of carbs for this meal. Fats, I believe, were right around 7 grams, and protein still around 50 grams. So that's what I have planned for this first meal. Woke up lighter today. We had our flight yesterday and put in lower food just to make sure I didn't hold water, and I dropped and looked really sharp. So it was 222.2. Ideally, after this carb load, trying to get to our wake up close to that 223, 224 mark. And we'll go day by day, meal by meal here with you and see everything that I do put in. So I probably didn't tell you the macros for that meal one, which that was 56 grams of protein, 112 grams of carbs, and 6 grams of fat. So now you know. Now we are putting in meal two. This will be close to timing for the stage as well. So, and also probably close to what I'll be eating before timing, like when I would be going on stage. So this is 250 grams of white jasmine rice, 20 grams of almond butter, just something to have a little bit of fat to slow down digestion, and 40 grams of whey, quarter teaspoon of salt, and then 2 17-gram carb Rice Krispie treats. I did this same kind of mix in Atlanta. It worked really well, digests super easy, and keeps my stomach really, really small. It's also extremely low in fiber, so it kind of checks, meets all the criteria that I want for a last meal before going on stage. This one comes out to be 41 grams of protein, 110 grams of carbs, and 14 grams of fat. So we'll put this in, we'll go train. I'm gonna go to American Iron Gym here in Reno and just do a lighter upper session, guys. And for travel, these collapsible Tupperware are awesome. Renee and I have all kinds of different sizes, so it makes it save space, but also you don't get to a kitchen where they don't have your right bowls and sizes to cook with. So this has been really nice to travel with. Right, so this is meal number 3. Went and trained, had a great session. Body weight came up around this like 224, 225 mark, which really is kind of where I see the best like fullness and hardness and what I want to put on stage. So went to check-ins. I'm number 75 and met all the open guys. I feel like I'm the short guy in all this, but it was really fun. Everyone's very friendly, and there's good camaraderie with everyone too. So of course, some of us are dieting harder than others, so a little bit more off-standish, right? But they seem, even the promoters are so welcoming to all of us. So really good experience so far. Come back, eating meal number 3 now. So this is 140 grams of chicken breast and 250 grams of white rice. There's only 40 grams of spinach, just a little bit in there for a day. Then we have 4 rice cakes that I'm putting in because I like rice cakes. If you followed my last Atlanta show, I eat some rice cakes, at least for now, and use them as for my toppers, right? So put this meal in and sit back and relax the rest of the day. Renee's gonna do my first base coat today, so we're gonna try that out and get a little bit darker for the show than I was for Atlanta. You're a big girl. If you were just like 6 inches taller, it would fit you perfect. Meal number 4. So Renee, she just, we both did, we shaved me. So I'm going to have my meal, then we can get to tanning with my first coat. So for this meal, it is 140 grams of chicken, shredded chicken, digests extremely well. It's also 320 grams of rice, split into 2 bowls. So I have one bowl that's like my savory with some mustard and ketchup. And then the other one is more my sweet. So it does have some cinnamon, almond butter, 10 grams of almond butter, 20 grams of dates, and some stevia. Then I'll have my 3 rice cakes to top. So this meal, it's 130 grams of carbs, about 9 grams of fat, 55 grams of protein. The carb load continues. I'll spray the mitten. It's a sponge. Go heavy. There you go. Circular motions. I gave her the instructions and she didn't even listen. Do you have instructions for me? Cool. I'm going to do what I want.
I'm so distracted.
I'm going to spray it on you and I'm going to do streaks.
This is just your base coat, right? It's not supposed to be like...
Yeah, I'm good. We'll go as dark as we can. So I'm usually super white. And for Atlanta, we did let them do it, and we didn't do a coat 2 days out, which was fine. It worked out. But I still, after seeing my stage pics, I would rather be darker. And you never know how the lighting's going to be on stage, so it's more in favor to be darker than to have been lighter, right? So we'll do this one coat, rinse in the morning, then we'll head to Pro Tan, and let them do the rest of the coats. So just having a base and sleeping in it, getting a little darker, should help out. Then on prep, you know, getting your weird habits of things that you drink certain times. In the evening, I've always done hot tea for all the antioxidant benefits, and it's just a hot drink that helps with hunger a bit. I just like the taste of it. So black cherry it is. Okay. Came up 1 pound since that last meal, which I did put in about another 30 grams of carbs and some fats. Ideally, I like to go to bed 228, 229. So I'll probably just repeat this last meal and that I just did for meal 4. And then I'll still have 1 meal left, and I can adjust it based on the look and the weight that I'm at. Wrapping up 2 days out from the show, so this is kind of coming to the end of my carb up for the day. Topping out pretty close to like 700 grams of carbs. I do have 1 meal left, which it's a meal that I've been doing every night. So the last meals are sitting fairly good, but it is a little bit lighter. So it's like half the carbohydrate amount. So I'll do just some whey and oats and rice mixed together. Be about 60 grams of carbs. And since I do have all day tomorrow, I can always put more food in rather than try to force a lot down towards the evening. So we'll wrap it up here for the day, assess the look in the morning. All I have left for tomorrow to do is just tan and do kind of a pump up workout. So first things first, we'll see what the morning look is and then plan out the diet for the day. Good morning, everybody. 1 day out from Legion Sports Fest open debut. So last night, sleep was far better. Usually I sleep with my CPAP with this like nasal cannula only, but man, at night I get so stuffy, I couldn't sleep with it at all. 2 days out, and brought my full face mask, which I got excellent sleep last night, so much more alert. My legs feel light, I feel so much more recovered, and on top of it I had all that food yesterday, which was 700 grams of carbs, 300 grams of protein, and 55 grams of fat. Now, I did pull a lot of veggies and fiber out, so for this morning, my waist feels so much more controllable. And I did drop down to a lower weight though. It was 222.0, so about half a pound down, which is fine because it looks really sharp today, but flat. However, keep in mind, like, we're gonna go on stage probably maybe 12 or 1 p.m. So I have plenty of time to eat and hydrate before going on and try to get to where I'm like that 224, 225 look that looks really good. So based on yesterday's data, I'm just gonna run this pretty much the same meal plan today because that worked out well. And if I wake up again at this 222, that'll be fine. But I'll just have to make sure today I watch it meal by meal. We'll do a practice pump up and see how it looks. And if that's could be stage ready and going on, then I can just repeat what I did today for tomorrow. Renee already did one coat on me for protein. That looked really, really good. It darkened up overnight, so should be nice and dark on stage. That's the only thing that I have to really do today is go tan at the venue and do this practice pump up and just eat all day. So that's what we'll do. So luckily there's a live stream and the masters go the day before us. So you get to watch how they actually do the call outs, kind of study to make sure you're kind of mentally prepared for it. Also get to see how the lighting is and how much glaze might need to go on. So I've been watching the masters bodybuilding will be going, the pros here pretty soon, so can see how it's done. That's a full pot. So Renee and I packed our entire rice cooker to bring with us, so there's always fresh rice going nonstop. So this will be my pre-workout meal 2. So ideally this is what I'll have before going, my last meal before stage. So it is like the more condensed meal. It'll be 250 grams of rice. I'll mix some whey in, which 40 grams of whey. And that's already a good amount of volume. So I do move into a little bit more calorie dense carb sources. So I brought some Rice Krispie treats, which digest super easy and they're fun and tasty. So for this meal, this year I did 2, but my weight only came up like 1 pound since the last meal. And again, like that 224 is pretty right on. So I'm gonna have the same amount of carbs that I had for that meal 1, anticipating it should push me up another pound to that 224. So we'll have 3 Rice Krispie treats and then also 10 grams of almond butter with the meal. And then I'll wait about an hour and then do a practice pump up, see how we look, and then that gives me some guidance for adjusting tomorrow. When I started this year, I laid out what goals would be for actual placement. And, initially expectations are, try to go on without expectations, but you have them because I've done this before, right? So it was win a 212 show, be top 3 at the 212 Olympia, and be the top 5 in an open show. Change that a bit. So, and just seeing where my physique is at now, the goal now is to win the open show. That is what I have in my mind. And then go do the open Olympia and to not ever do the 212 Olympia again, because the open is where I can see my best physique, and that's what matters more to me than stepping on the biggest stage in the world to show a lesser version of that physique. It's just all about me being at my best. So expectation wise, it's hard to actually go off stage placing because you don't know who shows up or what the head judge will think is the best for the day. It's subjective sport, right? So at least expectation wise, that's more digestible, is bringing my all-time best and being extremely proud of what I step on stage with, to where if bodybuilding ended after this show, I never did it again, I could walk away and feel extremely satisfied and content with everything that I accomplished. And at this moment, I feel really confident that tomorrow it'll be executed. I aim to win the show. But I realize I've only been pursuing open now for 14 weeks. So there's a large muscularity hurdle that I might have to overcome with some of these other guys that are competing. Like there's some guys that are 250, 260 on stage. So that might be the limitation, because you know, all the criteria that's judged with structure, shape, symmetry, condition, muscularity, just presentation, the whole thing. I have a lot of great components that I bring, but the muscularity side might get outweighed. But that's why I just have to get out there and see where I fall. And it's kind of it is a new territory for me. So get out there and see what it looks like, get the feedback, and work from there, decide what the next step would be. So we are off to the fitness room, the hotel. Had my meal too. I've been bodybuilding for 11 years. This is the first time I have bands that have handles on them. So we'll do a practice pump up, see how the look is, try to emulate show day. So idea with like a pump up routine is, for one, you're not gonna have a lot of time to pump up, or they'll tell you to do it really early. So you wanna be able to do this about like right when you're seeing the next class walk on stage, because you only should need 10 to 15 minutes max to pump up. That's why I time what I do. And I'll do usually 3 to 4 rounds of exercise that I know are gonna target the body parts that pump well for me. So for me, I know I look best on a push day, so I hit like laterals, push-ups, a rear delt pull apart, and a tricep movement. I'll run through those like 10 to 15 reps, rest 2 to 3 minutes, and just keep repeating that till I get a decent pump. You don't want to keep going to where you're like winded and gassed, because you need to go pose on stage too. But you also don't want to do it way too early, right? Do this routine, then it fades, then that's even worse. So get a little bit of pump, and then the rest of posing on stage, you should start having like that more pump come about too. This is 2 meals in, about 3/4 gallon of water, and easy to pump. So check mark there. Can feel the muscle flexing, so there's a good amount of fullness, but also plenty of detail in lines where I want them. So this is like really close to how I'd want to walk out on stage, which it's about 224. So this is cool. If you watch the Atlanta show, like I was like 214 on stage. So this is literally 10 pounds up of actual stage weight, which is kind of blows my mind, but this is pretty close to what I can emulate for tomorrow. So today's a practice version for show day, which makes your peak really easy, so you don't have to do as much guesswork. And for me, it's also nice because I don't need a lot of water manipulation, and there's times that it takes place, but for me, like having enough fluids in makes a big difference for getting that fullness, but not taking away the detail too. So that'll wrap up. Let's just did that practice pump, know exactly what I want to do backstage, and then I'll just have my rest of the meals for the day from there.
Exit the roundabout.
Yep, headed over to tan, get some first coats on. Well, technically second coat, but first coat from the show day tanner. So brought a meal with me to eat it right before. Hate when your meal timing and your tan gets close together. You want to like spread this stuff out and take your time eating, but all right, we were backstage at tanning. I got the Clinton videographer in.
because we just didn't know where to go. But I'm gonna eat my meal 3 before I tan. This meal, 130 grams of chicken, 300 grams of rice, 20 grams of dates, 2 rice cakes, and 10 grams of almond butter.
John, nice to meet you.
Thank you, that's awesome.
Thanks, man. Good to meet you.
Meet you too. You're looking fucking nutty, by the way.
Thank you.
Just got done tanning and went well. Super dark, which I think this will be the darkest I've ever been on stage, which is wild because I always have a real issue with getting enough color on me. So that's encouraging to have your tan on. It's the one thing you don't want to have messed up on stage that's controllable, right? But overall, feel good. Got to tanning with William Martin and Lewis Breed, who are like the biggest guys in the show. Really nice though.
Hey. How do I look? Dark-ish.
Yeah.
It's
Looks good for the first coat.
yeah.
Second coat.
Where's the second coat? Do you think it looks good for the second coat?
I can smell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I lacking deodorant? Or the tan?
The tan. I smell the tan.
What you eating?
Oatmeal, protein, blueberries.
Nice. Being tan and washing dishes is like red flag danger zone. Good old G. Hughes barbecue sauce. Condiments to stay consistent. Carbs are so high right now, like I'm not weighing out the condiment, but again, these are like really low carb anyway.
What we have going for this meal?
So this meal, I'm doing a split of like my savory chicken rice and then my whey rice. So I don't want all chicken. Whey just sits really easy, so trying to slowly make the meals a little bit more condensed throughout the day. This meal will be 280 grams of rice total, 70 grams of chicken in one, and then 20 grams of whey in the sweeter one. We'll have 4 rice cakes with this meal, 15 grams of almond butter, and there also will be 15 grams of dried cranberries in the sweeter one. So fancy, these meals. Y'all know how this is. The rice cake is purely delivery device for my chicken rice. Right, so before doing for meal 5, check my weight. I was sitting around 225.6, so a little lighter in the day than what I had was yesterday. So I really pushed food up higher to make sure it stuck more. And so that meal ended up being 380 grams of rice, did 100 grams of beef. So I switched to beef over chicken just to have some added fats in there. This is the point where I will start adding fats when the carb volume's getting so much. I can't add more like sweetened type carbs. I need fats just to increase the caloric density of the meal. Also had 25 grams of whey to mix in a portion of the rice. Put in 25 grams of peanut butter, and then also 2 Rice Krispie treats to have something a little bit more dense carb wise. So doing that, ended up bringing my weight up to 227.6 now, which we're pretty close to what I was before going to bed. I was 228.8 last night. I ideally don't want to drop as much overnight, but the way I feel, I don't think it'll happen. And why I say that, just because I feel relatively full compared to last night. And also, I have almost like a cotton mouth that's been happening all day. So I know the water I'm drinking is starting to stick more because you're having like this thirst signaling occur. So you're wanting to uptake water with all these carbs. So I know I don't think I'll drop as much, but what I'll do is mid-sleep, when I get up to normally always pee, I'll check my weight to look, and if it's dropping down a lot, I can always have a snack then. But for this last meal, I am doing something smaller and more condensed just because I don't want to be extremely full going to sleep. So this is 35 grams of whey, 200 grams of rice, and 25 grams of peanut butter. Then I'll have just like 2 rice cakes with it. So not a lot of food for this meal, but again, I could always have more like mid-sleep, or when I wake up about 6, I can always adjust my meals then. So this wraps up one day out from the show. Carb loading, we're at the point of carb loading where I don't want any more carbs. I'm just full, which you don't hear many people say often on prep or peak week. So we will go to sleep and wake up tomorrow and see the look. It's tough to say like what am I most proud of and hold in highest regard in my career as a bodybuilding, because I have this love for educating and helping people see processes a different way and help solve things themselves. But I also have my own like personal love in bodybuilding, that there's nothing like getting on stage and competing for me. Nothing's more satisfying than that. So, but it's unique and that's very individual to me. While like this educating aspect, it is fulfilling, but it's just in a very different way that will transcend like way past bodybuilding. And I know I can carry me far, but I'm also, I know I'll miss bodybuilding and the rush of being on stage, the excitement of it. It's hard to find, I think, fulfillment after that once you've had that type of high from competing. But to look over the career, I know the most impact I'll have will still be through what I've done so far with J3 University and trying to set a new standard for how we execute coaching in the physique sector. And I feel like that impact will be the legacy that I leave behind, and what I am and what I will be even the most proud of. And I think bodybuilding gave me a means to be able to share something like that with everyone that is involved in the physique sport world. So it's tough to differentiate those two and separate them. Like, I'm more proud of one than the other because they are interconnected and they work together, because I educate people through my own journey in bodybuilding. So it hasn't even been with around placings, just being a means to share my thought process, right? So hard one to answer directly, but it's kind of a mix of both.
Yeah, I'm gonna get
Show day, Legion Sports Festival, open debut. Super excited, had a great night's sleep. Sort of. And why I say sort of is I got a little bit in my head. So I went to bed last night pretty full from those last 2 meals because my body weight wasn't rising. Need to make sure that weight got up there so I don't have a big drop overnight. But I went to bed feeling really full, and so just got me thinking like, oh, what if this needs to digest, and then I wake up like spilled over, and you just part of the self-coaching about getting in your head. So mid-sleep I woke up about 5 hours after sleeping, peed and weighed myself. I was 225. My hands felt a little swollen, like starting to like retain, and it just got the wheels spinning in my head a bit. So the last like 2 hours of sleep were kind of restless because I was in my head. I ended up not eating anything extra overnight. Then finally waking up today, my fasted weight was 223.2, so I came up 1.2 pounds from yesterday's low of 222.0, and actually it looked really good. So I was like fuller, I can easily contract everything, feel everything squeeze, and still very sharp. So getting in my head was pointless. But anyway, part of it as bodybuilders, it's just you won't be able to get around it ever. But anyway, so start of the day is a positive because my waist feels really controllable. Body weight being higher, I won't need as much food today and fluids, which will have my waist really small and controllable on stage. So this kind of was the plan, and I'm glad it unfolded the way that it did, so I can still not have to push so much food in. So took like some fasting videos, pics down in the cardio room that's here at the hotel, and those all look right on point. So for meal one, have it set up. I'm gonna back down the carbohydrate amount some. It was like around 140 grams yesterday meal one to make sure I could really start off aggressively. I just know I won't need that much now, so I'm gonna bring it down to 100 grams of carbs, but I'm gonna bring a little bit of fats up just so it digests a little bit slower, and we're gonna condense down the meals. So like meal one yesterday, I had like oats and some eggs still, so this is gonna go now to just whey, rice, dried fruits, rice cakes, nut butter, stuff that's even faster digesting, but is going to be really small volume. And that's the main thing here, is small volume to keep that. As far as fluids go, I also, since carbs aren't as high, I won't need as much fluid, and I want to relatively hold this. I want to come up to that 224 mark, so I'll put a little bit more fluids in this morning, and then just toggle those up and down as needed from assessing afterwards. So get meal one in, and just go meal by meal, assess the look, and should be on stage here, gosh, in maybe the next 5 hours. I know some people get really nervous on show day, and I'll say like when I first started competing, it was like that. But definitely just has faded over time to where now it's like I can be so calm, and then right before going on stage, there's like not nerves, but it's now like this excitement that you kind of drive into. And I think a lot of that comes from one, practicing being prepared, feeling confident, being prepared. So a lot of nerves would be the worry that you're going to go out there and mess up, right? Or and so to alleviate some of that, it's just making sure your posing is practice and you're as familiar as possible with what you're going to be doing out there. But then all prep along, like, is visualization that I do. So I imagine myself like in all those situations backstage, like when I'm lined up and I'm about to walk out, what is that feeling? Trying to picture it in my mind and feel it in my mind too, right? So, and how do I want to feel those emotions, and not letting it take myself to like a place of negativity or nervousness, but in that situation, like pictured in line, picturing myself like feeling as confident as I want to be, that excitement, just ready to charge out there and do my absolute best and win and own the stage. Then like visualizing myself going through quarter turns, comparisons, whatever, and just nailing it. And I think keep doing that positive visualization. And once you get in that moment, you'll have emotions, but you can channel them into that same like positive energy and excitement to have a different kind of mindset when you walk out there. So when I walk out there, it's completely different than how it used to be when I was younger, and I was so worried about, performing. But it just takes it kind of different too, that you get better perspective as you get older too. Maybe do this, that, hey, like this is very important to us, but it's also flexing on stage, right? So it's not going to be the end of the world if you make a little mistake or something, and just go out there and have fun, because we only get so many opportunities to do this, and I'm so fortunate to be able to do it. So also having that kind of gratefulness perspective allows you to like just enjoy those moments and not let the entire backstage experience or show experience be filled with anxiety and nerves. Just lets you actually take it in and have the satisfaction of everything that you're able to do. So try that for your next show. Like, have that positive visualization that you do throughout prep, whether it's maybe doing cardio is when I usually do it, because you're mindlessly doing cardio. So put your mind into something that's exciting, like getting on stage. All right, I'm gonna call this lift, or pick the Lux. We're going style. Yeah, I don't want to take a bunch of stuff either, but it's like cold concrete slab back there. Okay. Sitting in the lobby, waiting for our lift to come take us to the show venue. So just been hanging out in the room. Now it's game time, almost. Need to go over there, get my last tan, and then I'll just sit backstage, relax till it's time to go. Should have one more meal in, just depending on the show schedule. If it's going a little long, I brought some extra food with me just in case. So I'll do my check-in to myself backstage and just bring it on stage and land it.
I don't know if you saw, but I sent you our tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Backstage you go.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's great meeting you. I'm like, oh my God, today have your own.
So potential in mind with the Open, it's a tough one. It makes me pause because my long-term in bodybuilding is not so much long-term anymore, because I'm 37. I'm not 27 like when I was close to turning pro, right? So that looks a lot different. Ideally, it is probably maybe a few years left of doing this, but I realize like the health aspect around bodybuilding, and especially pursuing just large body weight just in general, and keeping in mind that there is going to be life after bodybuilding, and making sure that I don't keep going past a point where I'm not seeing myself improve. Where that point is, I can't really say. So, and it's hard to say what is your potential in a new division. You just have to see it out and find out for yourself, just going after it. So what would that look like? I just want to be the best version that I could be. If you start getting, I think, too focused on the placings, it can be a very disappointing outcomes at times. But ideally, if I could get into the Open top 10 Olympia at some point, man, wow, that would have been a hell of a bodybuilding career, I think. Like, fourth in the 212, done the Olympia a few times, and been able to be on the Olympia stage as an open bodybuilder. I'd walk away with that. And like I said, I'm already at a point where I could walk away and be completely fine. But this isn't about necessarily even placings anymore. It's just because I just love doing this. Absolutely on fire for it, especially with this open and seeing this. There's a cap that's been removed to what could be my potential, where I thought I was kind of topped off. It's not at all. So you just have to make the sky's the limit and chase after it. And if I do better than what maybe I think I could do now, hell yeah, that's amazing. I blew my own self away when I did my first Olympia. Like, won a pro show and did top 5 my first Olympia, like as a 212. Like, that wasn't the expected at all. So so I don't want to put limits on myself, but I also have in mind that I'm not going to do this for the next probably 10 years either. So
Okay, gentlemen, Charles Griffin, Max Charles, John Jewett, Justin Rodriguez, Joel Thomas, Eric Wood.
Flooded Rolex at the Grammy Awards. They still selling dope, that's those Miami boys.
Let's have 3 on each side of the square. Nobody on the square, 3 on each side of the square, spread out. Joel, take a step to your left. Max, please follow. Charles, stay right there. Don't move and stay on the line. Stay on the line. Front double biceps.
Ain't no mercy, ain't no mercy.
Front lat spread.
Don't be begging for your life, cause that's a lost cause. High stakes body armor, suicide boy.
Side chest.
And it's the time to kill. Make up your mind, baby, cause the time is here. Capital murder, capital letters. Yeah, she catching my vibe, but she can't fathom my cheddar.
Back double biceps.
From this point on, anything we do together. Body on the corner, million in the trunk. 7 figures I spend at every other month. Killers on the corner, talents in the clip.
Back lat spread.
Just to fill with bitches. Say my name and I'm coming with the gun squad. Everybody running, homie, is only one gun. Cocaine, white Ferrari, I'm in the fast lane. Every day was life and death.
Side triceps.
Count money, drug residue, even blood on it. He had it driving till I put my cuz on it. Kicking in the dope, boy, the suicide squad. Needle in my arm, so I'm do or die for.
Abdominals and thighs.
Ain't no mercy, ain't no mercy. Got that purple Lamborghini lurking.
And your favorite, most muscular.
Ain't no mercy, ain't no mercy. Got that purple
And relax. Everybody back on the line. Right here on this line, Justin. Take a step to your right, gentlemen. Take a step to your left. The 3 here to your left. Joel, take a step to your left. Max, back on the line. Thank you. Front double biceps. Front lat spread. Side chest. Back double biceps. Back lat spread. Side triceps. Abdominals and thighs. And your favorite, most muscular. Max, back in line. Back on the line, Max. Your favorite, most muscular. And relax. Okay, gentlemen, you can go back to the side you came from. Thank you. Charles Griffin, Justin Rodriguez, John Jewett. Yeah, gentlemen in the backstage, just clear a little bit so you guys are not on the shot. Thank you. Front double biceps. Front lat spread. Side chest. Back double biceps.
Money's the motivation, money's the conversation. You on vacation,
back lat spread.
So we on vacation. I did it for the fam. It's whatever we had to do. It's just who I am. Yeah, it's the life.
Side triceps.
Gunshots in the dark, one eye closed, and we got it cooking like a one-eye stove. You can catch me kissing my girl with both eyes closed. Yeah.
Abdominals and thighs.
Thanks for asking. Couldn't slow down, so we had to crash it. You use plastic, we bout cash. I see some people ahead that we gon' pass, yeah. I never feared death.
And your favorite, most muscular.
Only fear not betraying. I am whatever I am. Only God can judge me now. Everything God's on tonight. Even if I got
And relax, back in line. Great job, gentlemen. Congratulations, Bob Ciccarello. This resumes prejudging for bodybuilding.
All right, thank you, Tarek. How about a big hand for your open men? We will see them tonight. Who will win the title of Legion champion and get to the Olympia? We'll find out at the finals tonight, folks, as we move to our last two classes in just a few moments. Coming back with Pro Bikini and our Pro Men's Physique.
Can you give me some initial thoughts?
Initial reaction, I was super nervous and anxious, of course, like I always get. But it's like, this is such new territory because open debut, right? So it's like, you don't know, like standalone, I know he looks awesome. But since this is new territory, I didn't know how he was gonna look in that lineup. But I mean, seeing him up there, it's like, he fits right in. Like, he could have been doing open, like you know, it's wild to think that this is his first like open show because he fit right in. Conditioning, hands down, he had the best conditioning on stage. I will say that. Top 3, which is really fucking cool for his open debut. Got a little bit outsized, but from head to toe, I might be biased a little bit, but I definitely thought he was the most complete package. That's just my opinion, though. How do you feel?
Feel good, yeah. It was fun. Had a fun time. Yeah.
Good time.
Good times. Yeah, it was, you know, I love being on stage, so great to be in the mix, too. So, happy with what I brought. Thought it looked killer. Go to finals and just see what happens. That's it. This is Lacey.
Hi.
She's my client. We did her figured pro debut today in the open, and first call out. Yeah, top 5. So we're killing it this weekend at Legion.
Yeah, we're excited.
We're excited. Yeah, absolutely. Go eat some more food back at the hotel, and then head to finals.
Your glaze looked really good too. When I went the first time where you said get heavy glaze, I went and they're like, I don't know, I just think 1 would be good enough. And I said, no, Coach said 2, so do 2, do heavy. So then we said to go back.
No, everyone was drying up out there, and
everybody up there looked super dry, like just like they had no glaze on.
Yeah, there was enough space for us to like lay down or something if we needed to. It was okay. You got warm on stage, that's for sure.
Oh, okay.
Justin next to me is like, it's hot, right? Like I'm sweating. Like, hot to you? Like, yeah, it's a little warm, right?
Yeah, those stage lights are always pretty warm.
I noticed people were getting a lot of water. Stepping off stage to get water.
Yeah. We're just
Maybe it's
stay on the line. Back in the hotel room now. What we'll do is I will check my weight, see how much weight came down just from being on stage, sweating, putting out energy, replace some of that with fluids, and then put a meal in, and then we'll keep assessing and going about the rest of the meal plan, which it's like 1:30 now. Final starts at 4:30, so we don't have a lot of time. Really happy with the tan. I had them do an extra coat, so I realized the stage lights were pretty bright, so that was really helpful up there. Also, they use this gel muscle sheen. It looks like Vaseline, which another thing we were seeing was like the people were drying up on stage. So I went to Terrence Ruff and I was like, man, you were shining. What did you use? He's like, this is the stuff. And so it was like this tub of muscle sheen. So I put that on. So happy with the glaze and tan. So Pro Tan nailed it for me. And as far as how I felt on stage, well, man, I'm exhilarated to be on stage. I love it. Every moment's just so much fun to me. So happy so far with how everything went. So weighing myself after stage, it was 223.2. So it came down 0.8 pounds. So what I do is I replace that amount with fluids just right away, come back up to that 224, then put in a meal that's been holding me around that body weight. So these past meals I've been doing have been like right around 100 grams of carbs, 15 grams of fat, and 35 grams of protein. So that's what this meal is based around. It's 110 grams of chicken, 200 grams of white rice, and then I'll do 4 rice cakes, and the fat sources will come from like 25 grams of almond butter. So that'll put me right at the amount of food that I know relatively will hold me around this body weight. Then fluid wise is where I'll make the adjustment to where I can hold. Because if I go back to my normal fluid rate, I know from yesterday that brings up my body weight. So I usually will start with just cutting that in half. So I'm usually doing 45 ounces between meals. So I'll do 20 ounces between meals. Half of that will be coffee, because just keeping that caffeine helps with the diuresis and keep pushing water out. So I'll have that, and then I'll probably get maybe one more meal in, which I'll do my another pre-stage meal that I did right before going on this last time. So first time posing with the big boys, right? I don't know when I get to be considered like the big guy as well. And You want to remove that label of being a 212 guy. So like at least posing, and you don't have a lot of context when you're on stage with these guys, right? Like you can look at all of them and they all look huge. So you don't have a reference point of how you look from an outside perspective. But you know, I knew just off my conditioning was going to be really good and on point. I'd have to really look at the stage shots to be able to say, like, I know I need more size. Like, this is without a question, but I think I am very balanced. So it's just continue to put on a little bit more overall. I know that would be one limiting factor. So I need to look at the actual comparisons. Once we get some quality stage shots to be able to see where I really lag. Being between prejudge and finals, I almost don't want to look. Because you don't want to overanalyze and get in your head about something, because what can I do to change that now? Nothing. So I might as well feel good and confident about what I did in prejudging and just go out there off the excitement of being in the top 3 call out and bring it all the same to finals versus overanalyzing, stay on my phone, looking at all these pictures. I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to enjoy the moment and the feelings that I have without all these other influences around. And once the show's done, we're gonna celebrate. Then I can sit down with some photos and take the judges' feedback and then game plan from there. Bodybuilding, when it's all over, what's given to me is just the possibility of that we really are our own self-limiters. You know, bodybuilding was a hobby when I first started. I worked in a hospital, had a whole nother life. My life could have gone completely different direction with like a 9-to-5 job, like a relationship that just was always going to be a grind, and I would have just been content in life maybe. Bodybuilding gave me the greatest life that I could ever imagine. Met a life partner that feels like connected to my soul, like we're one, right? A career where I impact people, I change people's lives for the better. And it's changed my life for the better. It's not just getting on stage and flexing muscle, like it's taking me to a place where I can see out my potential in all these other areas, and it just opened my mind to what could be done. And it's so much more than what I would have been able to do if I stayed in that other job, in these other relationships, if I had to quit bodybuilding, because that was the ultimatum that was given at one point. So bodybuilding's given me a whole new perspective on life, right? A lifestyle that I'm super grateful for. And so I'll always love bodybuilding. It's neither something I would look back on and be resentful for, or if there was health consequences around what I have done in bodybuilding, I accept those, because I've achieved and experienced like amazing things that I would have rather had that in a shorter life than some long life that was just average and boring and content. All right, y'all, we're headed back to finals. There's a short break between prejudge, so I'll go get my tan on and knock this out tonight.
There's still time. All that has been devastated can be recreated, realized. We pick up the broken pieces of our lives. close to each other, to rest our head, to rest our head, to rest our head.
All right, thank you, John. Please take the 6th place award and present it to Max Charles. Please take the 5th place award and present it to Eric Wood. Please take the 4th place award and present it to Vitor Both. All right, down to your top 3. Please take the 3rd place award, the bronze medal, and present it to Justin Rodriguez.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. Don't give a
And in Olympia fashion, if I can have Charles Griffin and John Jewett in the center, please. The next name you hear will be the winner of the 2023 Legion. Gas presenting your 1st place award. They will take the 1st place award, the 1st place check, the gold medal, the Olympia qualification, and the title of 2023 Legion Sports Fest Pro Men's Bodybuilding Champion, to our winner, Charles Griffin.
Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
How about a big hand for your runner-up, John Jewett?
Turn down for what?
Gentlemen, hands raised in victory.
Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
All right, gentlemen, hang on a second. Your favorite pose, guys. All right, thank you, gentlemen. We're going to have Charles stay right there.
Hello. He's got a big brain. He's in J3U?
Yeah. Oh, hi, John. Nice to meet you. Charles back.
Oh. Who's my hair and dress?
Part of the intro, dude.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Clinton, are you going to play?
We'll see. That's not. I'm not the one you should be worried about. It's this guy.
Okay, if he can fit, everybody can fit.
Yeah. Ouch. That one's that big.
Oh, yeah, that's like...
Clinton didn't go sideways.
I had to keep recording.
We're headed to the Lucky Beaver, which is a burger place. It's not a strip club. We think it's open 24 hours, so I don't know. All right.
It's worth it.
I know you'd protect me. You killed the spots. Did he even get like his first
Before
season?
he could even... I did that in the restaurant. We don't think that going to a Halloween party.
Oh, yeah.
Renee, what'd you get?
I got a wedge salad. It's called the Giant Wedgie. And then their famous wings. We'll try them out, see how famous they are.
I got the ahi steak salad and a side of salmon asparagus. Back from finals, and for the open debut, second place. So, you know, initially when we talked earlier, I set out for this year to have an open debut and getting top 5. But of course, we train to win. Of course, you know, and coming off a 212 win into this open show, well, it's like I wanted to win this show, and knowing that I was in that top 3 mix, oh gosh, and the trophy was super cool. I was, of course, I wanted it. And second place, it's great, but it also stings too, because you're so close from that first, and it's mixed emotion a bit with it, because I know for me that getting anything less than first place meant not doing the Olympia, because I won't do the 212 Olympia now, and I won't do the Olympia at all, which it's tough. But I know my ultimate goal is to continue to just be the best bodybuilder that I can be, and that is bring a undeniable open bodybuilding look to stage, and it wasn't today, and that's okay, because there was amazing competition with 20 open guys, and to be second in that mix, and Charles Griffin looked phenomenal, and I think we had a great competition between us, and then also Justin Rodriguez, who's a veteran of the sport too. So to stand next to these guys that are phenomenal bodybuilders and just be in that mix after just getting off the 212 stage only 14 weeks ago is humbling and also exciting. So I have to look at it from that positive perspective, the excitement of what is to be, to really fully pursue the open. But again, it's
it's tough because you still want to go to the Olympia and you still want to win, but it's all good. Just happy to have done the show and have a great production and a fun experience, and met all the guys in this entire lineup, and everyone was really encouraging, and also just talking about J3 University. And we've have guys that I'm competing against the Open that are in J3 University or have taken some value from what I've taught and implemented in their preps. So it's cool to have the camaraderie with these guys, that we're not like cutthroat after each other, like we are helping each other just to better the way that we pursue the sport. So looks like for moving forward, at least my mind right now will be into the off season, because just looking on stage, like I see the completeness, the polished posing, the presentation. I have a lot of great aspects. I can bring condition, but I knew going into this that size was going to be part of the limitation and a bigger hurdle to overcome. And that's what I see holding me back. So it makes sense just to go in the off season and bring next time just the undeniable package that has all the great attributes that I bring, but with a little bit more muscularity. So for now, we'll wrap it up for the season, and that's the initial plan. Of course, that's the plan getting right off stage. I never know how if I think more into it, if that would change, but I really don't think so. So this will probably wrap it up for the season. And for a season wrap up, hey, a 212 win, second place in the Open. It's been a hell of a year, and thank you for all of you that have supported me along the way and followed this entire prep series. Just value that, and again, just highly appreciate you all. So thank you. Yeah, my perspective on balance in pursuing life, marriage, bodybuilding is that there is not balance if you're looking to be the best in the world at something. And that's why my lifestyle, my relationship and who I'm with, and how I pursue bodybuilding has all been catered around that. Like, I built a career so I could bodybuild more efficiently. I didn't chase the career down and start bodybuilding, right? So it's extremely efficient, and that is everything goes into my own personal bodybuilding pursuit. So is that balance? Like, on the outside for someone else, potentially it's not, but if you want to be the best at anything, whether it's your career, your schooling, or a sport, you have to be an extremist. Truly believe that. Like, fuck balance. Like, there is no balance. There is ways which you can build in enjoyability in those other areas, but I don't know what you have to define what balance is, because for right now I feel balanced, like I guess I could say it, but to others my lifestyle would be extreme, and it's extremely helpful, like having Renee, who competes as well and also understands the competition side. It would be very hard to have someone that didn't, and to them you would look like an extremist, but to Renee, this is just our life, it's our lifestyle. So it's not unbalanced, it's not balanced, it's just how we like to live and enjoy life. So my thing to that question though is, if you're trying to achieve balance, I would be more concerned that you're not achieving greatness in the area that you want to pursue. Because when I hear balance, it just seems average. I hear mediocrity, and that I want nothing to do with that. So my goal would be achieving the best version of this all comes down to of myself, and that for Renee, and letting our lifestyle and what we do around help develop us into that. And at the moment, like, bodybuilding's done that for both Renee and I and our careers, and it continues to make us just better people in general. So maybe it's unbalanced to others, but to us it's the life that we love and is bring us a lot of happiness.